Let me start with you first because this concerns the Congress government in Karnataka. Bengaluru is the IT and BT capital of the country. To send out this proposal, and now there has been some degree of backtracking to this, the IT minister saying this is just a proposal, a committee will be formed, we'll look into the rules, we'll make sure it's industry friendly, so on and so forth. But the point is, if this rule were to come to pass, that they have to display, every MNC, every IT company, BT company has to display the number of Kannadigas or locals that they have hired, what sort of signal are you sending to business? That ultimately between merit and domicile, you're preferring domicile over merit.
Zaka, good evening. I think this is a very serious conversation and I will try and make it as quickly as possible and be dispassionate on the subject. Personally, I have always favored full mobility of individuals within the country to travel wherever to get the job of their choice. After all, the corporate employers deserve to have the best talent, and I think people who are worthy must work wherever they come from. I come from Bihar, and you know how much the people of my state are maligned, although we provide, probably along with Uttar Pradesh, a lot of labor to different states. So here is my short answer. Number one, let's not at all underestimate the power of Bengaluru and Karnataka. It is the Silicon Valley. It is the startup ecosystem. I looked at one data. 25% of India's digital talent lives in Bengaluru. And therefore, I believe Bengaluru deserves to have the best that India has to offer. Now, here is where it gets a little complicated because of the politics. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Zaka. You know, I don't want a BJP person on your program, whoever is going to speak next, to try and make this political, because Haryana is an example where they did not even ask for the names to be displayed. They actually told as to what percentage should be employed locally, 75%. The same in Madhya Pradesh, again a BJP ruled government. The same again in actually Gujarat. I mean, these have happened. It's there in Andhra, Telangana, Jharkhand. Many states have done that. I believe that here is the challenge. Politicians and all political parties have this huge responsibility to cater to the people that they need to serve. I mean, after all, it's not just a BJP issue, it's for any political party. And I'll give you one example. You mentioned is unconstitutional. The truth is that end of day, by the Constitution of India, I think it's Article 15, the states are empowered to actually favor the son of the soil policy, especially to protect the economically and socially disadvantaged. And to that extent, it's not unconstitutional. I think the fundamental point here is for all political parties is to ensure just one thing. You have a mandate to give the entire protection to the people who voted for you, but you can't do it against the interest of demand and supply. And end of day, that should not be violated. I think the Karnataka government, looking at the fact that the big tech and, you know, frankly, all the big wigs are there in Bengaluru, is basically just trying to create an awareness that you need to also protect the interest of people who are locally domiciled or who speak the language.
Article 15, by the way, says it's the anti-discrimination article of the Constitution that no resident of India, no citizen of India can be discriminated on account of religion, race, caste, or even place of birth. But be that as it may, Sanju Verma, before I get to this whole what the Karnataka government is proposing, please answer Sanjay Jha's point. It's not just the Congress that is trying this. The BJP has tried this and it has failed. Most notably, like I said, the recent case being that of Haryana, where 75% reservation was being made for locals. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has struck it down as unconstitutional, and rightfully so, because Article 19 allows you the right to freedom of movement and to work and for livelihood anywhere in the country.
Okay. Zaka, as far as I know, you are anchoring the show, and I heard Sanjay Jha saying, you know, I don't want the BJP person to say this and say that. Excuse me, I don't need to take my lessons from a suspended Congress leader on what I should be saying on national television, so just zip it. It's my turn, I will speak exactly what I choose to say. The first and most important point, even when this happened in 2023 in Haryana, people like me who believe that meritocracy is what should be of prime importance, especially when it is jobs in the private sector, and within that, jobs within the MNC space. I never condone what happened in 2023, though the Haryana government finally did not have its way, because rightfully so, the Punjab and Haryana High Court struck down that 75% quota proposal. is the proposal by the Karnataka government saying that the 60-40 rule should be applied to jobs within MNCs in Karnataka. Is that ultra virus of Article 15 of the Indian Constitution? Yes. Is it ultra virus of Article 14 and Article 19 of the Indian Constitution? Yes. Is it ultra virus of the ROC guidelines? Yes. Is it ultra virus of Companies Act 1956? Yes. Is it ultra virus of Companies Act amended 2013 guidelines? Yes. But most importantly, Zaka, as somebody who's worked for donkey's years in some of the biggest bulge bracket firms globally, what is the meaning of an MNC? Let's forget about the constitution. Let's forget about political ideologies for the time being. And just from a layman's perspective, when you are talking of a multinational corporation, they basically have a global cross-border clientele. They have a global audience that they cater to. They are funded by global investors, hedge funds, pension funds, what have you. And they are not strictly bound by geographical or demographical boundaries. That is what defines the ethos and essence of a MNC.
Okay.
Imagine now, very quickly. Imagine now, Sanjay Jha, you had a longish monologue. Let me make my point. Don't get so rattled when you hear facts. I know you're not used to facts.
I'm talking to Zaka, not to you. Back down.
No, please learn to digest. I will speak what I have to.
Let Sanju make her point, please.
Keep quiet.
Yeah, Sanju.
Thank you. This man has a bad habit of butting in. Zaka, can you moderate the debate?
Yeah. Please go ahead, Sanjuji. Please don't respond to him. You're speaking to me and to my viewers. Please go ahead.
Yes. No, but I don't need background music. I have the right to say that to you as the anchor. Thank you. Now, let me make one very important point, Zaka. Mumbai is the financial capital of India, just like Bangalore is the IT hub. And you know that there are at least 4 big tech companies, Tech Mahindra, TCS, Capgemini and IBM, which either have their registered office or their headquarters based out of Mumbai. Now imagine, hypothetically, that Capgemini or IBM say कि भाई 60% of the people who IBM wishes to employ, are not going to be based on merit as the criteria, but इनको मराठी आनी चाहिए. They have to be domiciled in Maharashtra, specifically Mumbaikar. What will be the choice left with IBM? It will be a very small pool of people. Or for that matter, just one more example. Gujarat is often called the Detroit of Southeast Asia. You know this as much as I do, that the Sanand-Mehsana belt is supposed to be where more than 65% of India's automakers have their plants. Be it General Motors, Force Motors, Skoda, Volkswagen, Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai, Honda, what have you. Now imagine if the Gujarat government says, bhai, ये हमारा जो सानंद का बेल्ट है, it is called the auto hub, but यहाँ पर अभी सिर्फ Gujaratis will be deployed. 60% of everyone who's deployed in the Sanand Mehsana belt will have to be from Gujarat. I mean, how ridiculous is it? Or for that matter, since we spoke of Haryana, I'm glad that what the Haryana government proposed did not happen, because in some things political ideologies cannot dictate what should be the case. The Gurgaon Manesar belt is supposed to be the second largest auto hub in India after the Sanand Mehsana belt in Gujarat. Now imagine if ML Khattar says कि भाई जो गुड़गांव मानेसर ऑटो बेल्ट है वहां पर सिर्फ हरियाणवी और हरियाणवी जाट्स को ही एम्प्लॉयमेंट मिलेगी. Look at the talent pool. It will shrink with no offense to none, with no offense to any particular community. So my limited point is this. In some cases, meritocracy should rule the roost, and I think Mr. Mohandas Pai is absolutely right.
I'll go to him, but very quickly, 10 seconds, Sanjay Jha, before I go to Mohandas Pai. Quickly, please.
Yeah, Zaka, let me expose the hypocrisy of the BJP. Until the courts struck the Haryana government's attempt to provide 75% jobs, nobody from the BJP spoke. No one. When the court strikes it down, everyone comes and says, you know what, we never agreed with that.
All right. Let me go to Mohandas Pai, please. Let's move away from the politicians and the political spokespersons. Let's please go